All right. Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Monday, March 23rd. It is 6:27 right now. We got market opening up shortly in about 3 minutes. If you guys are looking to take the breakout, it looks like it might be a sell here on the 1 minute time frame. And looking over here on the 10-minute time frame, it's looking like it's going to be a buy actually. So a little tricky here. I mean, depending on what time frame you guys are looking to get in on. So like, yeah, I mean, a 10 minute looks like it's starting to flip to the downside though. So I mean, we'll kind of see, I guess, what happens when we get closer to that point. Yeah, depending on which time frame you guys are looking to get in on, the breakout's kind of going to differ a little bit. All right, yeah. So it looks like the breakout's most likely going to be a sell here. It's a little tricky because you guys can see there's a huge area of liquidity right here, and there's a huge area of liquidity. I mean, there's liquidity on both ends, right? So like price can really go either way. It can grab liquidity above, it can grab liquidity below. We don't know how this week's going to be yet. Last week was very choppy, so it was kind of hard to tell, um, the actual direction of price. So I don't know if this week will be choppy as well, or if it's going to be more directional. Last week was Fed week, so it was just pretty much ranging, chopping for the most part. This week it is, I believe, uh, I didn't check the news, but let's see. 'Cause I did give you guys a market cycle list that I kind of put together. Yeah, the housing data is going to get released this week. So it's usually ranging. So, I mean, we had a lot of chop and range last week. This week's probably going to be ranging. Hopefully, it'll be like a consistent range, not like a chop range. But we'll see what happens. So we got market opening up in about 20 seconds, guys. If you guys are looking to take the breakout, breakout is going to be a sell over here. It looks like on the 1 minute, and then on the 10 minute, we do have a pending sell signal right there as well. So we'll see what happens here when market actually opens up in a few. But yeah, if you guys are looking to take the breakout, it is going to be a sell for the day. Here's our clean chart. I'll mark up structure as we get closer, when market actually starts to move around. I don't really have structure here yet. And then we also have the higher time frame structures over here. You can see price is actually ranging right now. It's ranging between these two structures right here. So we got market open now, not a lot of movement. It's actually dead. It's actually really dead for an opening candle. I'm actually surprised it didn't move at all. Um, so let me see this real quick. Actually, no, the candle was huge. So the volatility is actually extremely high right now, guys. I take that back. I thought it didn't move at all, but the volatility is extremely high right now. It's currently at 40 ATR. I didn't realize it was 40 ATR. I just looked down at it right now. The volatility is really, really high at the moment. So I mean honestly, I don't know where it spiked up. If it spiked, I think it spiked up first and then it spiked down. I can't tell, but it spiked up and down about 60 points both ways. So we have some extreme chop right now this morning. I didn't realize these candles were that big. It looked like they were small, but I mean they're pretty huge actually. This is why it's important that we have the ATR down here because the candles could look normal, but in reality these candles are actually huge. So let's see this here so far. Morning Facundo, morning Lila, morning Maria Talanji said just had a buy flicker. Let's see. Not expecting consistency today either. Yeah, I know. I agree with you, Talanji. I'm not really expecting it because last week was super, super choppy, and I'm expecting this week to be the same, right? I'm not expecting anything crazy here. Um, so yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens here when price continues to, obviously move along. We're in no rush to take anything today or this week. I mean, if we find something good, I'll take it, but I'm not jumping into positions here, just because. So price is coming down like kind of what we expected right now. It's coming down pretty smoothly. We'll see here as price continues to move along. It's trying to grab liquidity right here. So we'll see here. We'll see how price reacts to this area of liquidity, right? It's either going to push through and grab lower liquidity and just blast through this liquidity here, or it's going to bounce directly off this point. I don't see it bouncing directly off this point right now. So what it looks like at the moment is price is actually going to push through this liquidity and grab this lower liquidity down below, right? These levels, I mean, like I said, you can use these structures for different things. You can use it for rejections, you can use it for continuations, you can use it for a lot of things, right? Momentum, breakout, etc. Um, so right here, this hasn't been invalidated. Oh, and there he goes. It's mitigated it right now. So it's blasting right through, just like I mentioned. And we'll see here if it rejects off here or if it continues dropping and it just grabs liquidity even lower, right? Which could be the case. I mean, we have a sessions right here. As you guys can see below, we have a New York low right here. So this might be where price pushes down to, right? It might have a target for it to reach down to this point down here. So we can't tell for sure what's going to happen yet, but of course we're going to follow and kind of see where it goes. So like what you can do here, and this is kind of what I'm looking, what I'm going to be looking for. If you guys remember last week, I mentioned I might just start a what I consider a fun account to take a lot of these more discretionary type trades. So by looking at this over here, we're going to be looking for, I'm going to be looking how price reacts to to these areas of liquidity. Let's see, iPhone is asking, just wondering why we didn't take the daily on the 10 minute. Because the daily hasn't came up yet, iPhone. It's 6:34. It has to come up on the 6:30 candle. So there'd be no in. This is pre-market. So this momentum signal came up at 6:20. We don't look for the daily until 6:30 to 8:30, right? So it'd have to happen on this candle right here. So the momentum would have to happen on this specific candle. That's why we don't take it. Because we don't trade pre-market, right? We trade during the market open. So yeah, that's the answer to your question there. If this momentum came up on this one, then yeah, we would look for it. But it hasn't came up on this one. It came up on the pre-market candle, which was 6:20. So we don't start looking for anything until 6:30. I know that this might have confused you because it looks like it was at 6:30, but this was pre-market. Does that make sense? That's why like a lot of people get confused with like the pre-market entry. Like even for the algo entries, it says 6:30, but it's really 6:31 for the first algo entry if you look at the algo list. Yeah, it's just an opening time because we try to keep it within the parameters. I mean, same with the 715, right? Like for example, if I'm looking for a break and retest of this right here, this confuses people sometimes because they're like, oh, do I take the entry if it lands on the 615 or do I stop looking prior? I usually start looking like or stop looking around like 710 around that time point. Yeah, it's just like it's because we have the guardrails basically between those time periods. All right, so we had price break and retest this area of liquidity right here. Price was established on this green candle. It retested on this one right here. I don't know if anybody looked to get into this one. I mean, obviously, I'm not looking to get into this one here specifically, but it looks like that one right there just ran through. This is the first level, so I'm looking for the third one. But that's the pattern that we were looking for was a break and retest off liquidity. Obviously not one that I was looking to get into, but yeah, nothing there yet. So we'll keep watching. So that was the first break and retest off liquidity. I'm looking for the third one, guys. So again, I'm looking for the third one. So this is what I was talking about, how you were looking to see how price reacts to this area of liquidity. So again, right here, see how price is retesting it? For a discretionary trader, or if you're trading order flow, you can see how price reacts to this level here. If you see a lot of sellers, if you see the delta start to come down, it's not really good to look at on TradingView because it's kind of laggy. But if you're looking at the delta right now, um, like for example, if you're looking at the footprints aren't that good on here though. So just keep that in mind, guys. Yeah, like the delta is a little negative right there. It's not super great, but it is a little negative right there. So if the delta stays negative and it continues dropping lower, then which it isn't, but if it does, see, like this doesn't really make sense to me because the delta is negative, but the candle's super green. So I don't use the footprints on here. Or that's why I don't use footprints in general, because they're not too much going on here. All right, so I'm just gonna mark some structure up as we continue to hang out here for a little bit. This is the clean chart, so we have the volatility is really high today, guys. So just keep that in mind. Don't be quick to jump into positions here. I mean, if you find something good, then okay, great. But look at this increased volatility. If you're taking these retests, look at how big this candle was. It would have stopped you out super quickly if you got in like super late. So just keep that in mind. I mean, there's no entries for us to take here anyways because I'm waiting for confirmation. But just to show you guys, like, look at how big this red candle came up. Spiked up like 60, 70 points, right? If your stop is 30 points, you're going to get destroyed in this type of market. So just, yeah, just kind of wait and see. All right, because market here is kind of moving back and forth, guys. I'm going to go grab some water real quick, and then I will be right back. So give me 1 second. I'll be right back. All right, guys, I'm back. Um, Steve, morning, Siege. Let's see. So iPhone's asking, was there any news? Why is the 6 a.m. candle so massive? Let's see. Daniel said Trump announced that the talks with Iran are going well, and they're putting strikes on hold for 5 days, and then it spiked after that. Okay, that's good to know. I mean, it's a tricky game, right, that they're playing. It's a super tricky game that they're playing because I wouldn't believe a thing Trump says. Honestly, I wouldn't believe a thing he says when it comes down to it. All right, we have a possible entry over here starting to set up for a break and retest off liquidity, or maybe not. This level is looking pretty small. Yeah, it's pretty slim. So no level there actually. Damn, this thing's pretty choppy, guys. I mean, not. It's choppy at points. So like right here, this looked like it was going to be a pretty nice liquidity that was establishing. And then all of a sudden a big red candle came out of nowhere. I was like, nope, we're going to wipe out all the liquidity right here. And you're going to have no setup. So, I mean, it was looking good for a second. It's retesting this lower liquidity right here. I don't know if anybody was really looking to jump into this one down below, but it is testing this lower liquidity. Um, Solange said took the MPS due to good Trump news. Okay, that's good to know. Okay, so like it looks like some of you guys here grabbed this MPS V2 or MPSPA actually. So it was a lower low buy signal retest right here and continuation. So this was and there goes a retest right there too. So there's another entry here that just ran. It retested this lower level, pushed up, hit target right there. So if you guys got that right there, I mean, it's still running actually. So there was an MPSPA that happened right here. Oops. MPSPA that happened right here, which was a full TP that Daniel took. And then there was a retest right here, right next to it. I'm not in any of these positions yet. I'm looking for my confirmation, right? So I'm not in this position right here, but what I'm looking for is I'm looking for a third level, which we did have earlier. Well, it didn't close, but it was setting up for a third level. And that would have been my entry there because we would have had the 1, 2, 3, and then it would have grabbed this upper level liquidity up here, right? So yeah, I mean, we're kind of just hanging out for a bit. Again, there's no levels here. There's no entries for us to take at the moment. So, I mean, it is what it is. We're kind of just waiting for the setup here to come up. Uh, we have a new sell liquidity right here. So we have a sell side liquidity. If that's the case and price drops lower, I mean, we have liquidity on both ends, guys. So it just depends on like where price pushes down to, right? Because we have all of these levels right here. So if price wants to push up, it can grab liquidity up here. If price wants to push down, we have all of this liquidity down here. So I mean, I'm just hoping we get the entry before 7:15. It's not looking like it, but who knows? Over the next 10 minutes, this can easily just push straight up or push straight down. We've seen this before, like last week, right? On Wednesday, we took our entry for the this was the daily entry, but yeah, for the liquidity break and retest right here, like this thing came up super late, like right at like 7:14. So like we have time. Like there was this was on Wednesday. It kind of went back and forth for like a good 30 minutes. And then at the last little moment, it came down and provided our entry. So I'm gonna keep watching for it. I'm not like gonna be defeated at this point, like that the entry's not gonna come up because I think it could still come up. It's just a matter of time until it does. You just have to pay attention and not miss it. So right here, it looks like the buy might be setting up pretty soon. We have first level of bullish liquidity right here. We have a second one there that just keeps getting invalidated. We just need that second level to close. Once that second level closes, then we can start looking for the actual entry level. But right now, again, right there, it just got invalidated and there's no entry. So again, we will kind of wait. The ATR is extremely high right now, guys. It is super, super high. And thanks, Vince, for the reminder. Appreciate you for doing that. So let me just do this real quick, guys. Yeah, I got to remember to do this, and I appreciate Vince for reminding me because I always forget. Okay, so let me do this real quick and then we'll continue on with our analysis. So guys, just before we continue on, just another reminder to you guys, I am registered with the CFTC NFA as a professional trader. This is my NFA ID. Futures trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. You can lose more than your initial investment. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. This stream is for informational and educational purposes only. Nothing shown or discussed is a solicitation to buy or sell any futures contract or to participate in any trading program. I may hold positions in the market as discussed. My views may change at any time based on market conditions. If any hypothetical or backtested results appear during the stream, they have significant limitations and do not represent actual trading. So with that being said, let's continue on with our analysis. All right, again, yeah, thanks, Vince, for the heads up on that. Let's see. I'm gonna look at the overall direction to just kind of have an idea of like what we're looking at, what to work with here. And I'm gonna put the algo entries here as well. We haven't really been paying attention to the algo entries, guys, but the algo entries haven't been super bad. I mean, I'll show you guys the results. Here, let me just get the history here. And I don't know what's up with TradingView, guys. Like for some reason, the text box always super laggy. But here, let me just take a look at the overall bias real quick. So overall trend right now is currently, which it doesn't really matter to me, but it's pretty much neutral. 1 minute here is bearish, 5 minutes bullish, 10 minutes bullish. You can see prices above the pivots, trend meters green, pivots are angling down. The 1 minute over here is bearish. Price is the opposite. It's below the pivots, trend meters red, pivots are angling to the downside. So it's pretty much neutral here on the lower time frames, and then same thing on the higher time frames. The 30 minute here is bullish, price is above the pivots, trend meters green, pivots are angling up. Same on the 1 hour, it's more on the neutral side, but on the 4 hour here, it's very bearish. So it's just straight neutral across the board. Just neutral, neutral, neutral. Fundamentals here are also somewhat neutral. Let me go check my overall bias for today. I'm pretty sure it's neutral. I mean, I could be wrong, but hmm, potentials. It's neutral. Yeah, it's pretty much neutral. We're currently in chop. The algo entries over here. Let me just put the algo entries, line them up. There's no entry for us right now, so you guys are not missing out on anything. But the algo entries are 630, 646. This is for this week. 655, 706. And I'll show you guys the stats for the algo entries. I mean, they're not doing so bad. I mean, they're still there. It's just you have to know when to apply it or not because market's been super choppy last week, and there just wasn't any entries last week. So let me just update this. All right, this is going to be the algo entries for this week. So let me go over here, drag this over. Okay, so here are the algo entries. So for last week, there was actually no algo entries because it was just so choppy, right? Everything was just no entry, chop, 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 flickering momentum, etc. But the week before that, so on Friday, the 13th of March, we had a 2 hour win. The day before that, there was a 4 hour win overall, 2 hour win. Yeah, so for the previous week, there's actually two net wins. So that's a 4 hour for the week, 3 hour overall. And then last week there was nothing because it was just so choppy. So if you guys do have access to the algo entries or the premium, I still update these. These are updated on a weekly basis. Um, Looking over here, market was super choppy, so I wouldn't take these. But I mean, if you wanted to, at 6:30 right here, there was an entry right there, which maybe would have hit. I wouldn't taken it. It's too choppy. 646 right here. Again, it's still very choppy, but no, there's a flickering momentum, so no entry there. 655 is going to be the next one. So if you want to take this one, you'd wait for setup right there. There's another break and retest right here off the liquidity. So same setup that we've been looking for, but it just didn't finish up for our entry yet. But again, right there, price established the liquidity with this candle. This candle right here broke and retested off the level, and it's currently pushing into profit. But this isn't the actual entry that I was looking to get into. And there you go, another full TP for a break and retest right there. I'm looking for the third level. So if we get another area of liquidity, that's where I'm going to look to get into. I preferably would rather take a buy here because we have all of these levels of liquidity to grab, right? So we have areas here for price to grab. So ideally, I'd like to take a buy here if it does come up. If we take a sell, it's fine. But the problem with the sells here is that there's sessions right here. What, right? We have the New York low, we have the Asia low. It's not exactly the best area to look for entry because we're going to have structure in the way basically. All right, we have a possible entry right here. Let me measure this real quick. This is going to be a tight one, but this is going to be a possible entry for a retest. See, entry is going to be at say 62. All right, 762 is going to be 46.7. 62 is going to be the entry point. I mean, we're pretty high. I don't know if we're going to get this entry here, but we'll see.
Order submitted.
We have another level above. We'll see. We'll see if this will get filled.
Order
If it doesn't
submitted.
get filled, I'm gonna cancel it, but that's gonna be the first level for the retest. 762. Yeah, if it establishes a new bullish liquidity, then obviously. So no fill right there. I mean, it was really close. Damn, looks like it was off by like 1 point. Very slight. It's okay. We'll leave it as is. We'll see if it fills.
Order filled.
All right, currently active right now. A lot of liquidity. This might stop us out. The volume is just, or the volatility is really high. So we'll see here. We're in the position right now. If it stops me out, it's fine. I'll try to get it on the next one. Yeah, I got stopped out on that one. It's all good. See, the volatility is just too high right now.
Stop filled.
It's all good. Wait for the next one here. Damn, look at this huge candle right here. Fucking massive. Yeah, it's okay. So I took that trade right there. Unfortunately, took a loss. I will be looking for the next opportunity for entry. Like I said, not a big deal. This was kind of expected. This could have went either way. It could have spiked right up, or it could have, went straight to stop, which went straight to stop here. So first loss for the day right there. First loss for the day, first loss for the week. Like I said, our stop is really tight. It's 30 points, so we need to have a quick, like, it just has to like hit it and then push out of the way. So I'm gonna look for the next one here. The other one's hit though, so I mean, there was no reason for me to think this wouldn't play out. The first one over here played out perfectly, and then this one over here played out as well. Just nice little retest of it and push through. It doesn't matter where our stop was. Either way, it would have gone stopped out. Even if my entry was a little bit lower, this candle right here was just too big. This was a fucking no 75-point candle out of nowhere. All right, well, we'll watch for the next one here. We might be looking for a sell actually. So we have one level right here. We have one level right here. It just kind of depends on where it pushes down to. I don't think we'd be able to get into the entry like if it came up right here because we have the opening price. But we'll see. So we still have two levels of liquidity right here. We'll see if it mitigates this level. If it does, then that's fine. And then it looks like it's going to mitigate it. Yep, so it mitigated it. It looks like the sellers might not be in control here. It's chopping. It's chopping. And we have the range right here. So we have the big range, and then we have the smaller range right here. So it's really hard to like identify which direction we want to go with, right? Because we're getting liquidity on both ends. So let's see, we might have another shot here for another buy if we have like liquidity start to kind of push up a little bit. Okay, so we still have two levels here. We have a lower level right here. This is level one. This is level two. If we get another liquidity which establishes above, maybe we'll be able to ride this back up higher. Um, you guys can see we just got spiked out right here, and then it pushed right back up to where it was supposed to go. We were looking for this type of setup. So retest, 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 and then higher. Okay, we might have one right here. So I'll be watching for this. See if we could get it back on this one. I gotta wait for this candle here to close to make sure that we have enough space here. 20 points. This candle is at 40 points, 40 seconds. Okay, so we might have another opportunity right here. $64. All right, 764 is going to be my setup. 46, 764. $46, 764.
Order submitted.
Hmm. I don't know what happened. For some reason, it's not letting me put the order in. So I was able to put the order in on another account, but on the main account, it's not letting me put the order in. 46, 764. Today's cash realized. Okay, I'll have to figure this out. There's a new level right here, guys, but this level is not going to be used. It's too small. It's a 6 point liquidity level. For some reason, I can't place the order. I'm trying to figure out why. Or is rejected. Hmm. I think I have. I think I have the parameters in place to like lock my account out. Okay, anyways, if you're still looking to get into the position, guys, there's I mean, this is still going to be the fill down here. I'm probably going to cancel it soon because there's a new level up there. I'll be watching it right here. Yeah, the hedge fund accounts on StoneX are, I think they might be locked out for the day. I'll have to check it. So I'm only able to get in on my Ninja accounts where I have the limit order kind of sitting right there. I might have to cancel it though because we have the new level of liquidity right here. I don't know if size needs to be lowered here for this. Or I think it might be because the volatility is so high. StoneX is kind of limiting me because of what happened on the last trade. Let's do the math real quick. Oh, I see. Yeah, it's pretty much locked me out because of the volatility is too high right now. It's because there's slippage. Okay, that makes sense. All right, I'm gonna have to cancel this order, guys. There's no fill right there. So that's gonna be filled. I'm still gonna be trading on my Ninja, but on my StoneX, it's just the margin requirements are super high right now because the volatility is like it's just extreme at the moment. Um, yeah, let me do the math real quick. So 24 times 5 times.
Order canceled.
Okay. So it didn't give me double, it just gave me a little more because of the slippage. But all right, cancel my order right there, guys. We'll be looking for another opportunity here. Let's see. I think this might be a little too tight, but yeah, it's for sure too tight. All right, the volatility right now is really, really high, guys. So just keep that in mind. If you guys are looking to get into these positions here, I'm not in any of these positions right now. I'll just leave this up for to see if this here ends up getting the fill. But you guys can see these candles are extremely big. Again, this red candle right here it's probably over 100 points. Yeah, 102 points right there. Yeah, so I got locked out of my accounts, which is fine. I understand why they did that because the volatility is just it's really high right now. It's really high, and it's not exactly it's not exactly the best time to be entering positions at the moment. All right, so this here is the entry from earlier, or that we were trying to get into. It got filled. Pretty much the upper level liquidities over here, they were too small, so they didn't meet the criteria. So this is still the most recent valid liquidity. I mean, I wouldn't get into this one specifically because you guys can see how price pushed up, and then now it's just starting to reverse back down. Plus, like I said, the volatility is like way too high. I'm gonna take this off. I don't want you guys to think I'm in it. I canceled that position a long time ago. But yeah, the ATR right now is extremely high. It's 64 points. I mean, it's really, really high. It should be on average, it should be closer to like 30 to 40. 40 is like going to be on the higher end. But right now it's super, super high, 60 ATR. The reason why this is a problem for, the entries we're taking is because your stop is 30 points, right? Your stop should be closer to the ATR size. But because the ATR is so high, one candle can easily just spike you out. It can just spike you out and then go straight up. So just be a little cautious with your entries and setups here. If you guys are looking to take anything, when I took our entry over here, it was still pretty high, but the other entries were hitting. So I was like, okay, it's fine. The entry will probably still play through. I'll just fill it and then go straight up. But we're like really in a chop right now. So let's go to our clean chart. So I drew these other zones, but realistically, we're just in this big chop, right? It's a big chop. It's pretty massive. It looks small here, but if you measure the actual range, this is almost a 500 point range. That's a pre-market range. It's really big. It's like the volatility is usually never this high pre-market, right? But as you guys know, the war in Iran is just causing a lot of this extreme volatility. I think this whole week's gonna be pretty volatile because of Trump's ultimatum. I mean, he said that, they're on a 5 day, they're holding off on strikes for 5 days, but I wouldn't trust anything because Trump says one thing and then the next day they're bombing Iran again. So just keep that in mind, guys. Yeah, CJ said crazy ATR 191 on the 10 minute, which is crazy. Let's see. Yeah, this ATR is extreme. So like we thought the 1 minute was pretty crazy. The ATR for the 10 minute guys, this is 194. The normal ATR for the 10 minute is usually like 90 points. 90 is like the higher end. This is 190. So just keep that in mind, guys. If you guys wanted to take the daily entry right here, I think the daily entry just came up. So the fill would have been right here at 750. Okay, so the daily entry is currently running right now, guys. If anybody has decided to get into it, I didn't get into it because I mean I can't even get into it if I wanted to. I'm locked out on my StoneX accounts. It identified the volatility is just too high, so it's fine. You know, I have those safeguards in place for a reason, so I don't get caught up in these fake outs and these bad trades. Um, but yeah, I mean, this is the daily entry right here. It's currently running at the moment. So 646, 750 is a daily entry for today. This is the first daily entry for this week. I'll follow with you guys here. It hasn't hit yet, but it is currently running in profit. Again, like I said, the volatility is extremely high, guys. 194. This is tricky because your stop for the daily entry is 75 points. If each 10-minute candle is running 194 points, that puts you at some pretty high risk. You know, if it was to just spike out of nowhere, because if you look at these candles here, all of these candles are pretty bad. They're pretty massive. So again, take it at your own risk. I'm not in the position. I can't get into it right now. I'm locked out of my StoneX accounts due to the increased volatility. It's my safeguard and guardrails in place just in case something like, you know, this happens where the market's very unpredictable. I think this is a very unpredictable market today. I didn't think it was going to be that bad, honestly. Like initially, when we first opened up today, I was like, okay, the market looks pretty normal. It's pretty choppy. And then we realized very quickly that it's not normal at all because pre-market, so market opened up right here at 6:30. The volatility was already extremely high. These look like very small candles, but if you actually measure the candles pre-market, these were like 40 to 60 point candles. So the ATR was already above 40, which that's normal market movement. And then now that we're here with the open market, we're above 60. So just some stuff to keep in mind. If you guys are still looking to take the break and retest off liquidity, there may be another one setting up here for a sell. We have one level right here. We have a second level right here. So if we get a third level, that's going to be an entry for that is going to be an entry for a sell. So we'll see. 7:09 right now. We have about like 6 minutes until 7:15. So if this does come up, I mean, we're just getting spikes back and forth. We got a spike down, spike up, spike down, spike up. Again, the daily entry is still running in profit right now. It's currently in profit about 40 points. But you guys can see how unpredictable the movement is here. I mean, this can easily, there's one of two things that are likely going to happen here with the daily entry. It's either going to spike up to target or it's going to spike down to stop loss. I don't think this is going to be a smooth move. Like, I don't think this is going to be a slow climb or whatever like that. I think it's going to go sideways and then eventually it's just going to spike up or it's going to spike down. I think this is going to be very unpredictable just by looking at the previous candles over here, right? So, I mean, we'll see. I'll follow the daily entry. Either way, I can't get into it regardless, even if I wanted to. Um, I might try to get into another liquidity break and retest here if I can, but just due to what happened here right now, I don't think I really feel like getting into something like that. It's just the market's very inconsistent. Um, it's very inefficient in a sense. If you guys look at what's happening here, there's no efficient moves to the upside. There's no efficient moves to the downside. It's really just chopping up back and forth. And you can see it a lot better here on the clean chart, right? So let's clean up this structure because this structure is a little irrelevant. So let's just draw the smaller structure within. All right, so this is kind of where the chop is happening right now. If it pushes back up to this upper level, great. I mean, it's going to push up for the daily entry. So the daily entry is currently in profit about, I mean, as soon as I say that, it comes right back down. It was in profit about 60, 50 to 60 points, and then it just slumped right back down. From what I see here, it's really just chopping up between these two levels of liquidity. So retest, 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 etc. At some point, it's going to grab liquidity up here or grab liquidity down here, right? and then blast through it. Because once it breaks through this area, there's other levels of liquidity up there, and then vice versa if it breaks below here. But whatever, we're in this choppy market, so I'm not really looking to get into anything at the moment. After 7:15, I'm pretty much done with my entries for the day, because that's my cutoff for my liquidity break and retest. So that'd be my cutoff for liquidity break and retest, and then the daily entry would still be running. Let's see. CJ's asking, hey Sean, do you know if Apex allows the K2 micro scalp on PAs? Yeah, I don't think they care about that stuff. They used to a long time ago, but I think they took that rule off. I think Apex is the only prop firm you can micro scalp on. I know for Tradeify, I had to stop applying that strategy because they require that you hold the position for I think 60 seconds to like 3 minutes. So I think Apex is like the only prop firm, well, that I know at least that I use that allows for micro scalping where you can hold on to the position for just a few seconds. I mean, they might have changed rules again. They're always changing rules, so I would say refer back to the FAQs or the support tickets, but from what I know, they're still allowing it. Yeah, because I think Ark was using it and he was getting payouts, so I think he's good. All right, let's see the other chat. I didn't even get a chance to look over here. And Masij, so Masij said, okay, he's gonna post up his P&L at 7:15. Can you see Michael lower? Spend time at the bottom range. Big candle means spike. Tons of liquidity there. Yeah, there's tons of liquidity on both ends. So like we'll see where it ends up going. But there is liquidity on both sides. We have sell side liquidity up here. We have buy side liquidity down here. But it hasn't gone anywhere. Price has kind of been chopping up between this area for the most part. I'm looking back at our entry here. Man, we really got screwed on that big red candle, right? So this is the entry that I took for today. I just took one loss. It was a small one, 30 points. But if you look over here, if I extend it out, we really just got screwed on that one big spike of a red candle. After the spike of a big red candle, it just ended up pushing up all the way up here. So I would just, I think the setup here was good. Like the whole logic behind the setup was good. The setup in general was just a nice setup because it did reject off. It didn't actually like blast through it immediately. It came, filled the order, and then it kind of sat there for a little bit and then it spiked down. But if we didn't get caught up with this, random red candle right here, this actually would have pushed up pretty nicely. This actually lined up with the algo entry for the day, guys. So the 655 algo entry was for a buy right here. It would be a flickering momentum, of course, because there was a sell signal there. But if there was no sell signal, the 655 would have been a buy. So as we wait here and price doesn't really do much, I'm gonna go ahead and just update the algo entries for the day. I just wanted to point that out. So like our setup right there, I consider that a fair loss. We always talk about like classifying your positions. Was it a bad loss? Was it a good loss? Was it a fair loss, etc. If you're following your strategy as is and trade loses, that's a fair loss, right? It's whatever. You're just following your strategy. You can't be 100% all the time. Um, so yeah, that would be considered a fair loss in my opinion. And then the this would be a bad loss if like the strategy wasn't there, but the strategy was there. All right, we hit 7:15, guys. So I'm done looking for entries for the day. I only took one scalp. There's a couple other scalps that came up, but unfortunately, they just didn't meet my criteria. I think we had, I don't remember what this one was over here. This entry was at 634. I think this was a liquidity. Oh, okay. So this was a liquidity break and retest. I remember this. So this was a liquidity break and retest. This right here was an MPSPA. This right here was another liquidity break and retest. It wasn't on the third level. It was on the second level, so we didn't take that one. And this one right here was the third level, which we took. Unfortunately, we got spiked out on this big red candle, and then it's pushed all the way up to where we were aiming for. So we just got caught in the chop right there. It was a fair loss because we did follow the strategy as is. And that's about it. So like my trades for the scalps, I'm looking for entries between 629 and 715. There was only one entry that came up today, and that was a loss, unfortunately, like one official entry. And then we have the daily entry, which is currently running in profit. So if you guys jumped into this one, it's currently in profit about, let's see, it's in profit about 90 points right now, almost 100 points. So the daily entry is currently in profit 100 points right now. If you guys are holding on to it, it's almost on its way to target. Our full target is 150 points, right? So we're almost there. Um, that's the only trade that's currently running right now. So the daily entry filled right there. It's currently running in profit. We have nothing else here at the moment. Yeah, I mean, this is about it. Once this trade hits, we're pretty much done for the day. We're done because the scalps are over with. The daily entry is still running. So the way that I'm applying my entries, guys, is I'm looking for the scalps between 6:30 and 7:15. If my scalps don't come up right here, then I'll look for the daily entry. But if I do take a scalp here, I don't take the daily entry. So it's like one or the other. Sometimes if we get more volatility and movement in the earlier session, then we get those scalps. If we don't get volatility in the earlier session, then I get into the daily entry right after. So they're kind of just they're categorized between time periods. So the first 45 minutes, scalps, the scalps aren't there, then I take the bigger entry for the daily after 7:15. So the daily's running right now. If you guys are in the position, I think some of you guys are in that. Yeah, Steven said, man, I wanted to stay in the daily entry, but it was risky. So did you pull out, Steven? I mean, it was in profit over 100 points, so you're more than 75% of the way there. But yeah, there's not really much there to work with. So let's say I think Masiche has posted, or here's Steven. Yeah, so Steven pulled out right here. He locked in 480 off the daily entry. So nice work, Steven. I would say to hold it. I mean, honestly, if you're gonna take the daily entry, you shouldn't pull out of it early at all. You just gotta let the trade run. CJ's in the daily entry as well. He reduces contract size because the ATR is so high, as high as the graphs. Assassins, yeah. No, the volatility is way high, guys. I'm shocked to see this on the 10 minute. I haven't seen this type of ATR. I can't even remember when's the last time I seen it this high, honestly, for the 10 minute. I thought 90, 100 was like pretty high, but it's 177 right now. That's pretty massive. I mean, same with the 1 minute, but it looks like the volatility here is starting to kind of flatten out. We're back down to 48 ATR, so the market here is definitely starting to slow down a little bit. If you guys are looking for a later entry here for a break and retest, this level is too small. I mean, it's right at 10 points, but I would consider it too small. Yeah, it's too small of a zone. You need something bigger, more than 10 points. Steven said he got scared when I said either spike to TP or stop loss. Yeah, I mean, this is a cautious market. You got to be cautious in this type of market because there's a lot of uncertainty. I mean, it's just a tricky market in general. Okay, so with that being the case, yeah, with that being the case, I'm gonna shut down my trading laptop real quick. I don't want to accidentally get into anything. Okay. Well, I shut down my laptop, so I'm not in anything here. I think the daily just hit full TP. If you guys are in it, let me go and check real quick. It's almost there. It's like a few points away. So the daily's almost on its way there, guys. It's like, yeah, let's see. It's gonna hit though. It's just a matter of time. It's about 9 points away. So if you guys got into that daily entry, let's see. Domino's said price action has been so sus. It's unbelievable. Yeah, no, I agree with you. Okay, full TP right there. If you guys took the daily entry, so there's two entries that came up today, guys. There was a scalp, and then there was a daily entry here for 150 points. So daily entry hit, that was pretty solid, but the scalp here lost for 30 points. So if you do the math, 150 minus 30, it was a total profit, 120 points for the day. So if you guys caught that, CJ got it for full TP. Steven caught it for partial. I don't know who else jumped into it. I think Maria's the one that called out the signal earlier. Yeah, thanks, Maria, for calling out the 10-minute signal. We weren't really paying attention to the 10, but it played out perfectly right there. Let's see, I'm curious to see what's the specific time for it to push through. So this entry was at 8:50, 8:50 Central Time. Okay, so here are the statistics for the 8:50 trade. It doesn't have a high probability of it winning, but I just want to see what's the time parameter for it. Like how long does this trade usually run for? Okay, so this actually wait a second. This trade actually takes a long time. I'm surprised so I'm really shocked at it. Well, not shocked. Obviously, volatility is very high right now. But the average time for this is an hour hold. Yeah, or more than an hour actually. It's 10-minute candles, so it's like it's 100 it's yeah, it's 100 minutes basically. So this usually takes an hour for it to hit. This took about 130 minutes, so half the time for it to hit right there. Entry was at 7 o'clock. So let me go over here real quick. Curious to see. So this is why it's key that you guys have the algo here because the algo will tell you how long these trades usually last for. So let's see. I'm looking on the 1 minute now. The probabilities are not super bad on the 1 minute. So I'm looking over here on the 1 minute. It has a 41% probability of it hitting. This trade usually runs for about, okay, no, it's pretty spot on. So it usually runs for about 21 minutes. For winning trades, it runs for about 60 minutes. For losing trades, it runs for about 25 minutes. So let's just do the exact time here. So 7 o'clock. Well, I mean, that wasn't the actual entry. The actual entry happened lower right here. So it happened at the 750 entry point, which is at the dip right here. This actually got pretty close to hitting stop though. So right here, this is where the entry happened because you waited for it to pull back for the daily entry. This thing it went into drawdown. So like luckily the stop, well not luckily, but like we had a wide enough stop to handle the pullback. It pulled back about 62 points. The stop was 75 points, so it pulled back 62 points, and then from there it went straight up. So this took about it took 18 minutes for it to hit, which is spot on with how long it usually takes for the winning trades. So the average is about 16 minutes for it to hit. This took 18 minutes for it to hit. All right, not bad. Solid entry right there for those of you who got into it. So again, today there was two entries which came up. It was we had a liquidity break and retest, which was a loss, and then we had the daily entry over here, which was a win, 150 points. So these are the two main strategies I'm looking for. I'm looking for a break and retest on the scalps, and then I'm looking for the daily, basically pullback reversal. There was a retest over here. I mean, this wasn't one that I would have taken, but there was another break and retest that happened at this point. So you guys can see the break and retests are working. It's just we got really screwed on this position right here. I mean, it was just one big red candle that spiked out of nowhere and then it reversed straight up. to where we were expecting it to go to. Because we had a break and retest right here. This won, this lost, and then this one over here won again. So you guys can see the whole concept of this break and retest. It works and it's good. It's just sometimes you get that one bad entry, and unfortunately, that was what we got caught up with today. It wasn't a bad entry, but it was a bad candle that spiked us out before it shot all the way up. Looking at the market so far, the volatility is starting to flatten out, so it is starting to look a little better. This is normal. So like right now we're currently at 46 ATR. It's still on the higher end, but it's more on the normal higher end. Anything above 50 is usually going to be at normal. So I'm thinking back to this entry. I'm like, yeah, maybe I should have just skipped this one because the volatility was so fucking high. Let me go over here. Yeah, the ATR was 62. This trade probably should have just been avoided, but it's okay. I can't think like that. If you think like that, you just think the what ifs. Let's go back to this previous one right here. Yeah, see, this is why I didn't really care too much about it because this one over here was a break and retest. The ATR was actually 67, even higher. But it played out perfect. It came, it filled, and it went straight to target. That's what I was hoping for. But it is what it is. So not bad. Today's currently, I mean, if you're to do R multiples for today, this is technically a +2 R multiple because it was a 150 point win for the daily and then a small loss 30 points for the scalp. We have another setup right here for a break and retest for a sell, it looks like. So let me measure this. 13 points. Yeah, if you guys want to take this as a break and retest, again, my cutoff for entries is 715, so I'm not looking for anything here. But if you guys want to take this as a break and retest, there's another one right here, which could possibly be setting up. So I'm looking at this right now. We have three levels right here. So we have the first level of sell side liquidity right there, second level right there, very small, but it's still level. And then we have a third level right here. So what you're looking for is you're looking for a continuation back down, retest that level, and then push down and grab liquidity right here and retest the opening price, right? Everything has to make logical sense when you guys are taking these types of entries. I'm not in this position. I just wanted to mark it up because we want to see more examples since like not everyone here is familiar with this type of entry. There's different types of structures you can use. So the entry is filled right now. It's currently running in profit. I'm not in this position. I just wanted to show you guys a setup and like the whole logic behind it. There's three different market structures that I use for break and retest. It's either liquidity, it's either support and resistance, which is the SR tool, which you can trade zone to zone, and then there's high lows, right? Higher highs, lower lows, etc. Um, Yeah, if you wanted to take this right here, I mean, this could have been a jump right there as well, man. So I'm like looking at these entries right here. This kind of like pisses me off sometimes because I'm like, why did we get caught on the one losing trade and everything else is hitting, right? This is like this always happens. I feel like this always happens. And this is where a lot of people get FOMO and they start to jump into positions when they shouldn't, right? I already turned off my trading laptop, so all my accounts are closed out. So I can't FOMO into a position like this. But don't let this lure you into to want to keep trading, right? If you're done trading, like for example, my cutoff is 7:15 or with the daily. If my cutoff happens, I'm done trading for the day. But this is usually what screws with people the most, right? You start to see, like, you take a loss for the day or you take a win for the day, and then you see more trades come up, and this is where it starts to make you want to take more trades. And then you might see another trade hit, and then all of a sudden you start trying to just chase the entry, and that's where you start to start losing trade and start blowing accounts. So have your trading system in place, right? If your trading system says, okay, stop trading at 7:15, then stop trading at 7:15. I already made the decision to close my laptop because all my positions have finished already, right? Our scalps between 6:30 to 7:15 and then the daily entry as well. So at this point, there's really nothing for me to take, even if I wanted to. But yeah, I mean this is why I usually just get off and I don't try to keep analyzing because the more you analyze, the more it kind of tempts you to want to jump back into the market, right? Today is kind of a toss-up day anyway, so I don't really want to feel the need to jump into anything, which I'm not going to. But I just want to. I just want to remind you guys, this is usually what screws people up the most. It's like they start to trade outside of their trading plan, right? Like I forgot what his name was. One of you guys hit me up over the weekend. You're like, "Oh, what are the other criteria that you use to trade outside my trading window, right?" And I always tell them like there is no criteria because I'm done trading once it hits 7:15. Like 7:15 happens, I'm done. Or not 7:15. So 7:15 for the scalps and then 8:30 for the daily entry. But the daily entry already came up at 7 o'clock, so there's really nothing for me to take here anymore. But yeah, so I'll put my criteria right here. I'll just write it up so that you guys are familiar with it. So this is my daily trading plan strictly followed, right? And I just want to show you guys. So scalp entries between daily large entry between 6:30 a.m. 8:30 a.m. Trading entry rules. So my trading entry rules are basically if scalp entry taken, or here, I'll put this like max 2 scalp entries per day or 1 daily entry, right? If scalping entry taken and no daily entry. Yeah, so this is my trading plan, guys. Every single day I follow this. I look for my scalp entries between 6:30 and 7:15, and then I look for my daily large entry between 6:30 and 8:30. My trading entry rules is if I take 2 max scalp entries per day at half risk, and then I take 1 daily entry at full risk. If the scalp entry is taken, then no daily entry. So today I couldn't take the daily entry because I took a scalp entry right here at 7:55, right? Or 7:50 or 6:54. So my first entry came up here at 6:54, and then the daily entry came up here at 7 o'clock because I already took my scalp entry. There was nothing for me to take there. So no matter what, I yeah, no matter what, I set up here, right? So like whatever happens, it's like this or the other. It's very strict. So that's why for me, we're already outside the window. So I already took my scalp entry for the day, right? It said if scalp entry is taken, then no daily. So I took my scalp entry, I didn't take the daily, and I'm pretty much done. Vice versa, if we didn't get this scalp here, I would have taken the daily and then I would have been done after this entry right here, right? So yeah, it's just, something that you guys have to keep in mind when you guys are trading. Have some sort of trading plan in place and follow it strictly. Don't go outside of this window because that's usually where people start to screw up and when they start to blow accounts. Like I haven't blown an account in I don't remember how long. It's maybe been a year, 2 years, maybe even longer, honestly. I haven't blown any accounts, no prop accounts. I for sure haven't blown any real money accounts because I've been trading those for a while. And it's because I've followed my plan, right? I eat my losses when they happen and I take my wins when they happen as well. So I'm currently just down 1 R for the day and for this week. So it's not a big deal. If I win tomorrow, it's gonna recoup it. It's gonna give me profit on top. So I'm not too worried about, my trading accounts. And that's one thing too. Don't over leverage your accounts, right? Make sure that you guys are using enough size where it doesn't really hurt your account at all. Like I would have to take like 6 back-to-back losses for me to really feel it, which odds of that happening are very unlikely. All right, so this break and retest is still currently running. I mean, this thing's running for a pretty long time, but it's almost on its way there. So it's just a few points away from hitting and full TP right there. So if you guys took that break and retest, full TP. But like I said, this is the type of entry that lures you in, right? This thing would have stressed me out. If we were in this position right here, I would have been stressing because this thing was going back and forth for quite some time. Maria said she took a loss. She entered very high. So yeah, just remember, Maria, when you're entering these positions here for the daily, you have to go back 20 points, right? So this entry right here, or the candle close at 817, right? So if you were to go back 20 points, you would be below this level, right? Because 817 minus 20, see, it'd be at 46,797, right? So it would be below this point right here, 97. And then once you get to that point, you get in at the next whole number. So that's why the entry here was at 750. It wouldn't have, I'm assuming, did you enter right here at the um yeah, so you entered right here at 800, right? That's way too close. Yeah, you would have to enter at down here because you'd go back 20 points and then you'd go for the next level. That's the whole reason why we have that rule in place so that you don't get in too early or you don't get wicked into like because what happens a lot of times is it pulls back quite a bit, right? That's why I don't really even have to do the math here. If I was to just look at this entry, I would have seen this thing close way too close to this level, and I wouldn't even bother to look at this one, right? I'd look for the next one that was down here, or even down here if you really wanted to be like a lot safer. Some people they don't use the 50 points. I think the levels were supposed to be set to 100 anyways. So like if you went for 100 over here, your entry would actually happen down here at the 700. But if you wanted to get in at the 50, because sometimes it runs away and you don't get the fill, it'd be at 750. So the ideal entries would be at 750 or 700, one of these two. But it's okay. I mean, now you know, Maria, and then in the future you'll know exactly, where to put your entry. You just don't want it to be too close. Because if it's gonna pull back, it's gonna pull back probably to the next level. But okay, so if there's any other questions you guys have, feel free to hop into the chat. Right now, currently, we have another retest right here on this next level. So we have another level of liquidity. We had one, two. This is the third level right there. Um, so again, right here, this is another setup for break and retest. Again, if your trading criteria doesn't allow for you to trade at this time, don't bother looking at this. I'm just showing you guys examples of the setups. 7:39 right now, guys. We're getting closer to 8 o'clock. So I mean, I'm done trading, but the actual hard cutoff for trading is 8 o'clock, of course, for the live session. I'm just waiting for Masij if he's going to post up his profits for the day to kind of see where he ended up. I'm curious what he took for the day. The breakout was really tricky, so I don't know if he probably would have, depending on what his TP stop loss was, he maybe could have locked in a profit on there or maybe locked in a loss. I don't see any MPSs over here. He might have taken this right here as a lower low reversal. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of setups here, but the market was so choppy that I don't know exactly what he would have gotten into for the most part. There's a lot of higher high, lower low reversals here. So there's one right there, one right there, um, one right there. So that's past 715. So if I was to take a guess, probably maybe one or loss on the breakout, and then maybe one on this MPS would have been a loss if he went for an MPS there, but this would have conflicted with the lower low reversal. We'll just wait. We'll see what he took or what the bot took for the day. Hopefully it was positive, but we'll check. So let me just go over here real quick. I'm gonna give you guys an update. I want to make sure we document everything so we know exactly what was taken for the day. So there was a loss here for 30 points on the so this was a loss for the liquidity retest entry. What time was the entry at? Is at 6:55. So we want to document everything to make sure everything here, so we know what to look out for, what the issues were, etc. So that was one loss right there. And then for the daily entry, this one did win for 150 points. OTP for the 7 o'clock for 150 points. Okay, there we go. Two entries for that day or for today. I'll take this off. I don't want you guys to think I'm in any of these positions here. But yeah, there's nothing else here at the moment. We're getting closer to 8 o'clock, guys. So again, if there's any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Question from Daniel. He's asking, do you put your live accounts in its own separate LLC from props? Yes. So they're two separate ones. Um, yeah, I have one that's just for prop accounts, and that gets run through, and then I have one that's for the Cody Kai Capital, which would be the hedge accounts and my live account. Basically all my live accounts plus client accounts as well. Yeah, so they're all separated. Daniel said, is there an issue running them together? There's I mean, there's not really much of it. I mean, there's an issue for me because you want to keep them separated. You don't want to have the hedge clients with everyone else. But if it's just your own personal live account, then it's not, you're not going to sue yourself, right? So you're not going to have any liabilities there. So yeah, if it's different if it's just your accounts, but for me, because I'm running the hedge fund's completely separate from the prop accounts. Yeah, yeah, if it's just you, then you're fine. There's no problem with that. I mean, there might be a problem, but realistically not. Like say for example, NinjaTrader. Like, say for example, you take a huge, huge loss, right? And it's like based on like it was based off slippage, then NinjaTrader might go after you to get that money back, right? For whatever your losses were. The odds are they're probably not going to do that because it's probably not going to be enough for them to really go after you for. But if that was the case, then they can go under, they could go after your assets, like all the assets within that company. Um, so yeah, it's just, it just depends on the situation. For a lot of people, they would open accounts with like offshore brokers, and then if they uh if they blew the account, they would just disappear because the offshore brokers can't go after them. But with NinjaTrader, it's a US company, so if you like end up taking a huge loss and they end up eating the loss and they want to go after you for that money, they could. I guess I'm gonna step away for 1 second. If you guys have any All right, guys. Sorry, I gotta run. I got a family emergency right now, so I gotta go. Alina's sick, so I gotta bring her to the ER right now. If you guys have